Generally, what happens in a healthy society is that we have people around us to whom we can express our concerns. And then they react, and then you react to that. And that's thought. And the fact that we would even ask people to do that alone is an indication of how isolated and lonesome people have become. Friends are people you can tell good things to and people you can tell bad things to. And you have friends because friends keep you sane. And this is this insistence that sanity in some real sense is distributed. It's not something inside your head. It's something that you find as a consequence of being nested in a sequence, in a hierarchical sequence of proper relationships. And so if you could do it alone, man, you could do it in solitary confinement. And, you know, even antisocial criminals hate solitary confinement. Well, a good definition of sanity in some real sense, and I don't mean this in a trivial or a coy way, is that if you can behave well enough that other people can stand having you around so that they can provide you with corrective feedback, so that other people can stand having you around, they'll reward you when you deserve to be rewarded, and they'll punish you when you deserve to be punished, and all you need to do is pay really careful attention to that feedback, and you'll be sane and properly situated. You know, that can go wrong if the entire social community takes a pathological turn, and that makes things more complicated. And that does happen from time to time, but generally speaking, you have to be surrounded by people, and so we could walk through that. Very few people can function effectively without an intimate relationship. That's because you don't have anybody who's monitoring you over the medium to long run if you don't have an intimate relationship. And so how can you organize yourself intelligibly and sanely without the medium to long-term orientation? You just can't do it. And how can you tell if you're being a civilized human being if you're not bouncing your behavior off someone really close to you continually? You can't. You need the intimate relationship. You need the family, parents and siblings, children, for the same reason. And you need friends. How people can make friends, because people really don't know. The thing about introverts is they often have to learn consciously how to socialize, right? Because extroverts, well, they're tilted so hard in that direction, it just comes naturally to them. We could walk through some of the initial stages in forming relationships in a very behavioral manner, because people might find that useful. So Benjamin Franklin said that one of the things you could do when you first moved into a neighborhood was to ask one of your immediate neighbors for a very small favor. And the reason for that is because it gets the reciprocal trade moving in the proper direction. So people like to be of service to other people, and if you ask someone to do you a very small favor, then you put yourself in their debt, and then you can also reciprocate. So you allow them to show themselves in their best light, because you allow them to easily indicate that they're positive and friendly and willing to do something for someone else, and they're very happy about that if you get it right. And then you're in their debt, so you can offer to do them a favor.
Here's how you know if someone's your friend. A, you can tell them bad news and they'll listen. They won't tell you why, you know, you're stupid and why that bad thing happened to you and how something worse happened to them once and, you know, derail the whole conversation. You can actually tell them bad news and they'll listen. So that's a good thing. And then this is a weirder thing. You can tell them good news and they'll help you celebrate. And that's a really good way of deciding who you should have around you, because if you have someone around you, you know, something good happens to you and you're kind of afraid to even admit it because, you know, God, something good happened to you. You let that be known and it'll certainly be taken away. You come out and you sort of tell someone half-heartedly that something good happened to you, and they give you a whack and then talk about the great thing that happened to them 3 years ago, or worse, the great thing that happened to someone that they knew 3 years ago. Go away from that person. They're not helpful to you, and they're not helpful to themselves either. You got to think about this. You got to surround yourself with people who want the best for the best part of you. You can hang around with weasels and losers that are trying to pull you down to justify the fact that they're spiraling downhill as well. And you know, the upside of that is you don't have to have any responsibility, and you can all whine about how wretched life is. So that's pretty attractive. But I would say it's also a bad medium to long-term plan. It's acceptable and desirable to try to surround yourself with people who are facilitating your development.